All right, man. I really didn't want to make this video to start my year. Like, I don't want to start my channel off this year on some gloomy ass stuff, but it just has to be talked about. Now, if you've been wondering where I've been, follow my Twitter, bro. Follow my IG, follow my Twitter. You're always updated if you follow me on there, and I'll let you guys know everything. But that's not what this video is about, man. I want to talk about really the disappointments of this season thus far. And I'm not even just talking about players. I'm not even just talking about teams underperforming. I'm talking about a mixture of that stuff, the pandemic, and injuries, and kind of how it's taking the juice out of a much anticipated season. Now, stick around to the end, bro, because I will be talking about basketball stuff briefly, but more importantly, the state of the NBA and how this stuff is going to end. First, I want to talk about Golden State, bro. Last year, we had no Steph, no Clay, no KD, really no Draymond, and no Warriors. And it hurt. Like, it hurt. Yes, the Lakers won. It's great when the Lakers are great and LeBron is winning championships. But no Golden State hurt the NBA. As much as we thought we hated that team, bro, as much as we thought we hated them, and trust me, I was right with y'all. I couldn't stand KD for that move. You can't go from dominating like they did and being the villain to none of their important players playing. Look at their roster. Like, for a good portion of the year, none of those dudes played. And bringing it up to speed and exactly what I'm getting to, Klay Thompson getting hurt on draft night really took the juice out of Golden State, and we all know that. Let's just be honest, bro. We all thought we were going to get that resemblance of that 2016 Warriors team where Steph, Clay, and Draymond just dominated, and we thought we were going to get something like that. But now it's really just Steph and a bunch of pieces. Yes, they're playing pretty good right now, 6-4, and that's great given their incompetent ass roster. But losing Klay Thompson, that just took away the juice of a championship contending team in the West and a fun ass backcourt to watch. Like, that's the greatest backcourt of all time, and we don't even get to watch them. And that's a fun ass team that we just lost on, man. And that hurt the NBA. Next, we got to talk about another backcourt that was supposed to be the best backcourt in the NBA and all that, but it isn't. The trash ass Wizards. For reasons that I really can't even understand completely, the Washington Wizards have been a complete disaster. I'm from PG County, Maryland, so back home, the team that we root for are the Wizards. Like, that's the big team in, Maryland and the DC area and all that stuff. So with that being said, I've watched every Wizards game possible. They have been terrible. With Russell Westbrook, without Russell Westbrook, with Bradley Beal scoring 60, without Bradley Beal scoring 60, they can't put it together. I'm not even going to blame Russell Westbrook specifically because it's not really just his fault. Now, his addition really didn't help, and I don't know if it's because of his age, injuries, his play style, what exactly it is, but he's not really helping that team in a positive way. Yes, he pushes the pace. They're the most fastest, as I'm recording this right now, they're the fastest team as far as pace in the NBA. Houston last year, they were the second fastest team as far as pace. Every team Russell Westbrook has been on for the last 10 years have been a top 10 team as far as pace. But that's not really what they needed. Like, John Wall gave them that, and they still never went anywhere. They needed somebody opposite of Bradley Beal that can score at an efficient, consistent clip. For whatever reason, that's not Russell Westbrook right now, and I'm afraid he lost a little bit of confidence, which really worries me. Also, defensively, this team is terrible. Like, they can't stop anybody. In almost every statistical category, they're dead last. After that big, massive trade went down, I never thought we would be screaming free Bradley Beal 2 to 3 weeks into the season, but that's just the dark truth of his career, bro. It's being wasted. Next, and this is nobody's fault, but Markelle Fultz getting injured. I'ma just say this, bro, and I'm probably gonna hurt a few of y'all when I say this. This is going to be a very disappointing ass, dissatisfying ass season, and I just feel that. With the COVID protocols and the postponing of games, and players can't play if they've been in close contact with somebody that had it, even if it's in the facility and all that, that's going to make this year very, very weird. On top of that, you're going to have injuries. The Markelle Fultz comeback is something that I highly anticipated. Mind you, I grew up with Markelle. Like, if you don't know, I went to elementary school with him, middle school with him. I've seen him my entire life, so I always wanted to see this comeback. And as soon as it was about to happen, we get robbed of it. People were very quick to call him a bust. And even me, I even felt at times like, what the hell is going on with his shoulder? Why can't he shoot? What the hell happened? And I slipped into it. But this is a perfect situation or a perfect scenario of where you get drafted matters, and it matters big. Who is the name that Markelle will never really be able to escape from? Jason Tatum. And why is that? Basically, when Boston traded down and Philly traded up in the 2017 draft, they basically got traded for each other. And if you look at that trade now, obviously Boston won. They got the best player in the draft. But if you look at their careers closely, Jason, his career was pretty much always set up for him to succeed, and Markelle's wasn't. This is why I was so excited about this comeback. Like, Tatum got drafted to Boston, bro. He got drafted to Brad Stevens in Tatum's first game ever playing. And I hate to bring this up, bro, because it's not a good thing. Gordon Hayward got injured, and what did that do for Jason Tatum? Open up a way bigger opportunity in a way bigger role. Meanwhile, Markelle got drafted to Philly, which, let's be honest, at the time, they were still a little bit of a shit show. Also, he got drafted as a #1 pick point guard with a returning #1 pick point guard on his team who can't shoot, so he needed JJ Redick on the floor at all times. And you got Joel Embiid, who needs his touches. And you have Brett Brown, arguably one of the worst rotational coaches I've ever seen in my life. Where were his opportunities to shine and be the guy we seen at Washington? There were none. Now in Orlando, he gets a very favorable contract, especially given this situation. A nice contract that locks him up for the future with one team. He earns that starting point guard job over Cole Anthony. They went 5-2 when he was there. He was playing great, had a big role in that, and he tears his ACL, bro. And who knows, bro, if Cole Anthony steps into that role and balls, he may never get that job back. I put this on this list, bro, and I go so detailed about it because, like I said, man, it just hurt my heart to see this happen. And I feel like we got robbed of a really good comeback story and a feel-good ass story, bro. I hope he bounces back. Next, I have to talk about Toronto and just how bad they've been this season. Last night, and I'm recording this video on Monday, last night, Stephen Curry arguably put together his worst game of his career, and they still won. Raptors fans, and I'm not saying all y'all, bro, but y'all run deep and y'all be in my DMs talking crazy. It's almost like some of them, they develop this mindset of we don't really need star players to win. Like, we could put together this system and play defense and we can just win like that. And that's never been how the NBA works. Last year, they lost Kawhi, and I know they had a very respectable record without Kawhi when he was there, when he was gone and all that stuff, but in the crunch time against Boston, they didn't have a closer. Right now, if you compare their roster as we speak, compared to that championship roster, they're missing 4 crucial players to that team. Also, all 3 of their best players, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, and Pascal Siakam, none of those guys are #1s, and I don't even know if they're #2s, honestly. So now, essentially, bro, you're asking talented ass role players who used to be good additions to the team to basically be the team now and be the driving factor to how they win. Fred VanVleet didn't have the role of being a star and having all the ball in his hand and all that stuff all the time. Like, he was a good bench player when they won a championship. You can't ask that man to do all this. And lastly, where this video gets a little bit personal, the biggest disappointment this year is really the state of the season right now. As far as the NBA's brand, the beginning of the season, even in a normal world, is always tough. Why? They're battling the MLB championship. They're battling the NFL kicking off and all that stuff. And they have 82 games. That's a lot of games to make up, and people aren't as attentive to games that don't really matter that much. But right now, it kind of hit a new low because of the situation of the world. They started their season in December. What's kicking off right now as we speak? The NFL playoffs. And if you're a fan of the NFL like I am, a Ravens fan, go Ravens, we got to beat these Bills. It's lit right now, so they're battling that. Then on top of that, bro, the standings and all that stuff, it's not even going to be a good representation of the good teams anymore because players are missing games. Players can't even play if they've been in close contact with a person that haven't. Even if they test negative, they still have to quarantine, I think, to 10 to 14 days. And how can you run a season like that? I just think it's very, very disappointing, bro, because for a team like Houston or a team like the Warriors or a team that's just completely different with new players and a new roster, how can you develop that chemistry? As we seen with the Clippers last year, they didn't have that chemistry and that's why they lost. How can you develop that chemistry if you're not consistently on the court together? I hate to sound pessimistic, bro, but I'm a realist first. The combination of no fans, and trust me, fans matter. Momentum shifts. Basketball is a game of runs, and the crowd can matter in that factor. No fans, you have to account for real injuries like Markelle Fultz, Thomas Bryant tearing their ACLs for the year. Then you can have possible pauses on the season. Like, imagine if a team wins 4, 7, 10 straight, and you pause the season and they're in the way of possibly making the playoffs. That can ruin their whole season. Then lineup changes. I just don't know how you crown a legitimate champion with the state of the NBA right now, and I just don't know how it gets fixed. If you guys like this video, man, like this video, bro. I hate to come on here and sound so down and possibly ruin your mood, but it's just how I'm feeling, man. A good YouTube friend of mine, B-Souls, go follow him and subscribe to him. He said in the video yesterday, and it's so facts, this feels more like a contractual commitment than an actual season, bro. It seems like they just zombies out there playing, but they don't give me that juice right now, bro. And I don't know what it is. Like I said, man, follow my social media sites. Do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.